Welcome to Emotions and Eating with Nicola-beer. Nicola controlled her feelings using food for 25 years, so she knows how draining it is to be constantly thinking about or acting out with food. Thankfully, having made an amazing breakthrough in her recovery, her mission became about helping others escape the unsatisfying cycle of frustration and self-medication with food. Nicola is determined to help you find your inner strength so you can be healthy, gain confidence, feel great, and be at peace with yourself and food.
Hi and welcome, this is Nicola. Thank you so much for being here with me. Today is a really interesting topic, I believe, and we're going to be talking about fear. Fear is a major trigger for a lot of people acting out with food. And you know what I mean by acting out with food by now. But just in case this is the first episode that you're listening to, acting out with food can mean overeating, compulsive eating, binge eating, vomiting, bulimia, not eating, anorexia, taking laxatives, and any other way that is self-destructive in living a happy and healthy life. So you may be wondering, what does fear got to do with food? With what I eat and how I eat? The thing is, when you fear not having something, or if you've had it and you've lost it, you tune into the energy of that fear. And then you constantly feel like you'll never have enough of it, and it's always eluding you. The fear then grows. Let's say you are worried about money or how much you don't have. You will find that you will pretty much always be chasing that fear. It doesn't go away unless you take action to help it go away. The same with fear of losing someone. And fear is often behind all compulsive eating, binge eating, bulimia and anorexia. In fact, fear drives everything. With things like finances and relationships, we can feel like we're out of control because we cannot predict the economy. We do not know what the economy will do. We do not know what our employers will do. We do not know whether someone is going to leave us or be with us in a relationship. So this can often trigger eating behaviour that is destructive because we feel a lack of full control over things and fear consumes us. So we control our food or use food to numb and stuff down the fear. Does that make sense? Taking in more food or controlling food can give the illusion of peace. Fear of not having enough money and the stress of losing my job caused a deadly cycle in my eating patterns, where I was abusive towards myself. It was 2008 and I was worried about losing my job. I was a year into my contract living in Dubai and boom, the financial crisis hit around the world. I was responsible for heading up investment banking and private equity recruitment at the time, and at first it didn't look like it would affect Dubai. But then it was one whole mighty big crash. A company of 80 staff reduced to 40 that I worked in, and the MD was let go. It was scary, and it awakened my poverty fears from childhood. I was distraught. I was screaming inside at seeing people let go, left, right and centre, and I couldn't function as I thought I would be next for sure. It occupied my thinking. I was filled with negativity, so much negativity that I couldn't snap myself out of it. I hated myself. I was scared of the future and I hated worrying, but I couldn't snap out of it. I couldn't let it go. I even felt like I hated everything and everyone. My emotions were dark and I didn't know what to do with myself. I felt like escaping, like I would never feel happy or be at peace again. That night I decided to make popcorn on the stove. I made a large pan full and then stuffed it down. Then I made another. Then I repeated this 5 times until I was bursting at the seams. I'd like to say I enjoyed eating it, but I didn't. I kept shoveling down the popcorn and making more and then stuffing it down. I burnt my whole mouth, but I still continued. I just had to feel full. I knew I was going to be sick by pan 3, so I carried on finishing the large unpopped packet until they were all gone. I was even eating the rock-hard pieces that were not even cooked, that hurt my teeth to eat. Do you know what I'm talking about? The popcorn pieces where they go black and they don't even pop. It was insane. I drank some tea and then I was sick several times. The frustration had gone, but I felt so confused and disappointed in myself, so low and drained from the cycle. Why had I done this? What had I achieved? The even sadder thing was, I ended up repeating this cycle for weeks and weeks, not eating much in the day, making and eating large quantities of food at night and being sick. I felt trapped and all alone. I had no one to share this with, and I was far too embarrassed to say anything to my friends and my family because they worried about me anyway, and I had a fear of burdening them. I was stuck with no support. And it's at this point where I want to step in and help you, because you don't have to feel alone and like you have no support. I'm going to be sharing with you how to start to process some of the fears in this episode. You do not have to feel like you have no control over the cycle anymore. I can help you to break it. And if you're thinking of getting some counselling or an eating disorders counselling and it's not working, you don't have to continue if it's not helping you, as there are different ways you can become free and love your life again. I had spent my hard-earned money on therapy and it only made me focus on the past and didn't offer a solution or reprieve from this inner turmoil that I felt. Plus, I don't like and never will like the term eating disorder. The label certainly didn't sit well with me, and I'm not the only one. Jack I helped to stop his eating said that he couldn't accept the label eating disorder or anorexia, as his not eating was different to anorexics, because some days he did eat bigger portions and not worry, and other days he barely ate at all. In fact, most of the time he tried to eat one meal a day. He knew he was thin and was scared of having a belly, so he drank and ate very little. He had walked out of counselling because they told him he had anorexia and he needed antidepressants to help him with the eating disorder or to go to rehab. He didn't want to take medication and he couldn't afford the time or money to go to rehab. When we started working together, I realised that it was fear that was holding him back. Fear of being like his dad. His dad was a large guy, and growing up he used to be very aggressive with Jack. He would often punch him and kick him if he was in his way or when he had been drinking. Jack had associated with being big with being like his dad. This was just one of his fears. He also had a fear of having children, as he was scared to bring them into the world and regret it, or be a terrible dad like he felt his father was. So for this reason, he was pulling back in his relationship, because he also feared commitment, because he thought if he got married, then children would be next. He had so much fear, and working through the fear, we were able to let go of the patterns that were stopping him from eating. It really is a life-transforming process to address your fears. For Jack, not only does he eat 3 meals a day now and thinks about food less, he is now married and with a baby on the way. So getting rid of fears is something that can really help eating as well as help other areas of our life. When I work with someone, we lay out all of their fears, as I've mentioned, and use a process that I've seen help countless people transform their life. Because what we do is we expose the fear and we look at them for what they are, illusions. You see, fearful thoughts often come up because we don't want to go through the pain that we've previously gone through, or the pain that someone close to us has suffered. Does that make sense? Fear is a warning sign to us. It's a signal that we are scared, and we therefore need to address each fear one by one. Try this exercise if you feel that fear could be behind your eating patterns. Step 1, write down all your fears, every single fear that you have. 2, know that this is your mind looking out for you, so view them with compassion. 3, take this as a blessing and calm the thoughts by listening to them. If you don't listen to your thoughts, if you don't listen to the fears, they just get louder and louder and louder, and they grow and grow and grow. But by listening to them and recognising them as just a warning that doesn't need to be acted upon, it can be freeing. Then make a plan for how you can address the fear if you are worried about it coming true. For example, for me, to plan to deal with my fear of losing my job, this is what I wrote down. 1, ask my manager if my job was secure for peace of mind. And if it wasn't, how many months' pay would I get if I was made redundant? 2, to work as hard as I could to save myself from being let go. 3, research the market for backup employers and locations to boost my self-esteem and confidence that everything was going to be okay. 4, check my savings in case the worst case scenario happened and start saving in case I do get some unexpected news. This is unfortunately all I really can share with you here about my fear processes, because the rest of the fear processes that I do are more experiential. They are a longer process where we really get to clear them, closing your eyes and taking you on a journey. And obviously I can't really do that here. And also what I would need you to do is I would need you to tell me all your fears, and then we'd work through them one by one. But I hope that these steps can help you in some way. The key thing that I really want you to get from this is to recognise is fear behind the eating. It's all part of the awareness process, because awareness is the first key to change. And I'm not the only person to say that. Louise Hay, if you've heard of her, she's a wonderful lady, and she, in her book You Can Heal Your Life, also talks about awareness being the first step in recovery. If you have any questions or want to get in touch with me, then please know that I'm here for you. You're welcome to contact me via my website, binge-eating-disorder.com, and I'm going to put a link along with this show if you're listening and you're feeling like, yeah, I want to find out about clearing my fears with Nicola. I'd like to learn a bit more. Then you can book a peaceful eating session with me where we can discuss how to break free from the fears that are causing you to act out with food. As always, thank you for being here with me. Take care. Have a great week ahead.
Thank you for listening to Emotions and Eating with Nicola-Beer. To book your free eating strategy session with Nicola, get the free eating support audio or donate. If you have enjoyed the show and want to help keep the show flowing, visit www.nicolabeer.com, where you can also find out more about her new system that has helped hundreds of men and women to change their relationship with food and their body, so they experience more peace and love in their life. We wish you an amazing love-filled day ahead.